And it was, oh, and I'm on mute. This is going to go a lot better now.
Restart this entire presentation. None of that actually happened.
Technology. All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Jen Fox. Thanks for coming out. I hope everyone's having a great conference. And we'll give this a shot again. We're going to talk about social engineering today. We're going to hear some audio clips and see some other artifacts from some pen tests. And we're going to talk about what you can do if it's your job to go back to your company and try to reduce things like this happening. So let's get right to it and start with some audio.
Hey, Melanie. Hey, Melanie. My name is Julie. I'm working with and I'm supposed to call everybody and do scans of people's computers to make sure that we're clear of the Heartbleed vulnerability. You've probably seen it on TV. There's been a lot of talk about it. What vulnerability? The Heartbleed. It's been in the news a lot. Oh, okay.
I don't really watch the news, though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Understandable. Well, you haven't missed much because it's about certificates and encryption and stuff like that. So I need to do a quick scan of your computer so that we can make sure that it's not vulnerable. And if it is, then we know we need to do our patch. So I'm going to need your computer number so that I can do a quick scan.
Okay. Do I have to sign out of stuff, or do I keep everything open?
You can keep things open. That's okay.
All right. So it's T4.
Okay. All right. And you should not notice any. It shouldn't interfere with anything that you're doing. You're doing right now. Did you have a nice holiday?
I did. How about you?
Oh, I did. It was nice. That was nice to get to
such
see
a gorgeous
family.
day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was great. Okay, it looks like I'm all set, and it looks like your machine is just fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, all right. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Okay. All right. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
You too. Bye.
So, yeah, Heartbleed. I liked Heartbleed. So this was something I did. I originally kind of did a poke at the help desk to see what they asked for, and one of the first things they had asked for was a computer number. I had no idea. You don't know till you do an exploratory call. So then I went on a quest for computer numbers, figuring I would probably need one of those. So in the next clip, so this first clip, I was talking to a nice lady named Melanie, who had a nice holiday. And my next clip, I'm calling the help desk as Melanie. Whoops. Sorry. PowerPoint much? There we go.
Good afternoon, this is Tiffany. Tiffany, this is Melanie up in utilization with you, and I need a password reset. Oh, okay. Okay. What's your last name, Melanie? E-R? Okay. Reset. For the whole system, right? Yes. Okay. I just reset it to exclamation point system 9. Oh, lowercase? S-Y-S-T-E-M 9? Okay. Yeah, so when you put that in, so it'll be exclamation point, and then the system all lowercase, and then the number 9, it'll prompt you to change your password. Okay. Okay? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Tiffany. You're welcome. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tiffany. So if I sounded surprised when she just gave me the password reset, it's because I was expecting a little bit more resistance, a little bit more fact-checking or information that she wanted from me. And as you can see, I never needed the computer number, but you never know. So anyway, so this was today's first example. So a little bit about me. I've competed in the DEF CON Social Engineering Capture the Flag the last 2 years, and I'm doing it again this year. I'm a senior security consultant with BioPoint, and I'm a Locksport nerd. That's the picture. So the blindfolded challenges are my favorite. So enough about that. Let's talk about the social engineering process. So no matter who you are, if you're a good guy, bad guy, there's a process you go through when you're working social engineering exploits. Everybody has a goal, and a lot of times it's similar on both sides. Find sensitive information, get access credentials, something like that. So you need to know what it is you're going after and what are your requirements. From there, we do research. So you find out what you need to know, see what information there is just laying around, and there's lots of it just laying around. You can find org charts, you can find people's names, software that the company's using, different kinds of data points to help inform your phish, your phone call, or even in-person exploits. After you've gathered a lot of data, and on the research side, there's a lot of tools you can use to get a large volume of data. You can use Maltego, you can use Core, if you know NinjaSloth, you can use Oscar F. You can just Google hack, and it gets a ton of stuff. So then the analysis phase is you look at all that stuff that you got from research and figure out what you're going to do with it. How are you going to use that to put together a pretext or a story so that you can ideally get the information you're trying to get. From there, you do some sort of attack. So you send emails. If you call, you show up on site dressed as the HVAC guy or girl, and it works or it doesn't. So if it doesn't work, then you go back to the drawing board. I mean, usually after any phone call or emails, you don't really get the same kind of feedback that you do with phone calls. But typically, I record the calls as I go, so then if I was not successful on a phone call, I can listen to it again, figure out what else I needed or where I went wrong, and then modify the approach for the next one. And of course, if you are successful and you got what you're looking for, your credentials, your sensitive information, whatnot, then you can use that pivot to go elsewhere and do other things, whatever type of malfeasance you had planned initially. So let's look at a couple examples. On one pen test, I was doing research and discovered that the top executive for the company did not have a LinkedIn profile. So I made one for him. And so we'll call him Dude. And the company website was really helpful. They had a beautiful professional photo of him. They had information about where he graduated from, where he'd worked before, what kind of nonprofits that he worked with. So I had everything I needed to put together a very credible LinkedIn profile. So I did. And as part of that, I sent out LinkedIn requests to company employees, and since they were all in scope. And for people outside, people outside the company were not the client and not in scope. But if I received any invitations to this account, I accepted them. And after it was active for a couple weeks, invitations from the outside started coming in because this was the top executive for this company. And so peers from other companies, from the local from the county, from other area businesses, started sending requests. And also, as part of creating the profile, I followed the company website, or Dude followed the company website, and the best thing happened there. Without making any request, whoever administered the company's LinkedIn page just gave Dude access. Hey, you should be the administrator on this page. How many of you guys would give your top executive administrator rights to your company's LinkedIn page? Look at no hands. Yeah, so that was great for me. And while I couldn't use it I didn't get direct access to sensitive information directly or credentials directly, I could have locked out the existing administrators. I could have appointed other administrators. And I could have put anything I wanted on the company's LinkedIn page. So the potential for reputational damage with that was tremendous. And when we turned this over at the end of the engagement, gave them the page and the credentials, the recommendation was that if he did not want to maintain his LinkedIn page, which is pretty nice, right? It was an all-star rating, 120 connections. He got off to a good start. That either their PR or communications department should take it over and maintain it so it wouldn't just create this void that other people could just fill. The next thing I'm going to talk about deals with a scope constraint that I had with one project. And typically when I get to do a social engineering engagement, it's on me to find the information, the emails or the phone numbers for people in the organization. And so I get to pick and choose. I can go target the IT department. I can explicitly avoid the IT department. I can call HR. I can kind of do what I want, but I get to craft it myself. And this time, I was given a list of people that were in scope, and they were different levels in the organization, different departments, different locations. They didn't really have anything in common other than that they worked for this company. And I had a limited number of fishes that I could do. So what I discovered through my research was that this was a company that had grown through merger and acquisition. And if any of you have been in IT for a while, you know that if you bring two companies together, it takes a long time, if ever, for all of those back-end systems to get integrated. So that was the gambit. What is the one, maybe two reasons, but one of the top reasons that you guys all show up to work on a regular basis? Money, right. Yeah, paycheck. Everyone is interested in getting a paycheck. Everybody cares deeply about payroll. It's always top of your disaster recovery list, right? Yeah, make sure we still pay everybody. So I actually this was part of a multi-part exploit. So what we did, I was actually doing another engagement for the same company. So I had one of my teammates do a search for payroll companies that might be used by by the client. And we found one, and good work, Ninja. And what we did was went to the site, and like all of the payroll providers, they had a login page where their customers, employees can sign in, do their benefits work, and we cloned that page and did a little. It's may or may not be very easy to see, but with the company name, you replace a character, and within an email, nobody scrutinizes anything that carefully, right? And especially, I put this in time, so it's a little bit more legible. But in a regular email, you can't tell the difference between a capital I and an L. So we did that, and we created the email. And the best part of the email, of course, is that we'd like people, give them the opportunity to win a $50 Visa gift card if they would only come to the new integrated portal, so that we can get feedback before we release it to everybody. And who doesn't like $50 Visa gift cards, right? So the link itself is not actually malicious, and there's no payload on this email. It just takes you to a very convincing-looking payroll site, and we add the company's logo, so that makes it look very official, and have all the right things in there. We ask them to use their corporate username and password, and so they do, because of course they want that $50 Visa gift card. One person actually tried to log in 6 times. They wanted that gift card. I felt a little bad about that. They were motivated. And so on the back end of our little login page, we just had a database where we collected all the credentials that people put in. And the person who tried 6 times tried many different ways to log in, which was also good information. Different kinds of user IDs. Well, is it my badge number? Should I try it that way? Is it my thing I use for my email? Is it like that? So that was good information too. Very interesting for us. And I also I don't have a recording here, but I did some companion calls that were very similar to the email, where I dropped the name of the main HR person, and I always called people who were not her peer, and usually at another location, so it wasn't like I was calling anyone's, her lunch buddy or anything. And I would ask them if they had time to check out the new integrated payroll site for me, and I would direct them to the payroll site, and they would happily log in. They were all very helpful. So there's a lot of different ways to get at a company's information through social engineering. And that's interesting to listen to, and it's fun to listen to, but if you guys have to go back and try to work within your company and try to prevent those kinds of things from happening and getting through, what do you do next? So we want to disrupt the process. We want to raise the work factor. Because the truth is, we're always going to have people at our companies. And people are going to still be people. They're going to be distracted. They're going to want to be helpful. They're going to make mistakes, because people do, right? We do too. So a couple things we can do if we look back at the process. Again, there's a couple spots where you can disrupt the process, or at least raise the work factor. And that's in research spot as well as the attack spot. So take some time to research your company. Google hack. If you have tools like at your disposal, like Oscar, like Maltego Core, you can use those, or you can just Google hack, because you can find so much just like that. In the SECTF, we're given a list of flags, and we look for information that would inform different types of exploits. We ask about, hey, do you guys have badges? Are they proximity badges? Do you have regular break times? Do you have a cafeteria on site? Do you have vending machines? Who does the pest control? We look for a lot of information about technology. What technology does that company use? And where do you think the best place is to find out all about a company's technology? Anyone? Yeah, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, because as IT and InfoSec people, we get our next job by letting everybody know what systems we do. IT people love to talk about the operating systems they use, the upgrade they did, the implementations, the users, the versions, the languages. That is all right for the picking. on LinkedIn. And there's nothing you can do about that. But you should know that that information is out there. So if you have people posting, especially former employees, you really can't tell them what they can have on their LinkedIn profile. You should know if there's people posting what kind of systems you have, what versions you have. Keep that stuff patched. Patch it, at least. Case studies are another really interesting source of information. A lot of times when a company is doing some big switch over or upgrade, they get a deal with a vendor. The vendor says, I'll give you guys a break. Could I do a write-up? Can I write a white paper about this? And that sounds like a great deal. And a lot of times those are really not obscured in any way. So the information is all there about what the company used to have, what they upgraded to. Maybe there were some issues, some technical issues that are talked about in there that were overcome by the awesomeness of the vendor because the vendor is trying to get more work, right? So that's a great source for social engineers. Also doing a real basic search for documents that are associated with your website, your company's website. Are there org charts laying around that shouldn't be publicly accessible? Are there call lists? Because those are findable all the time. Excel sheets abound. Communicate. Really spend time communicating with end users and with your business people. They should really get used to hearing from IT and InfoSec on a regular basis. It should be normal to hear, for them to hear from us. They should hear when there's upgrades. We should give them frequent reminders. It seems obvious to us because we think about it a lot, but we should remind them often and in various formats that we're never ever going to ask them for their password. Help desk isn't going to ask, IT isn't going to ask, InfoSec isn't going to ask, and so it's never a legitimate request. And encourage people to escalate. Encourage them to either escalate calls to a supervisor if you've got a public-facing department like customer service. Encourage people to ask questions to verify caller's story. There's ways to do that and be polite because it's possible that you have a legitimate caller who's asking a question that seems inappropriate or maybe is inappropriate. And especially if your job is customer service, you don't want to be rude to somebody who may really be a customer. But there's ways to do that and be polite. And one of the best things anyone can do is just ask for a phone number to call somebody back. Because when we're spoofing our numbers, you can't call us back at that number. We don't really have, if we're spoofing an internal number, we don't have that to call back. So the next audio clip is going to show a really great response, a very well-defended response to my requests.
Dr. Bell, can I help you? Hi there. This is Julie from MIS, and I'm working on making sure that we are clear of the Heartbeat vulnerability. You probably heard about it on the news. So I need to just do a quick scan. I'm actually working with my doctors and do all the scans and make sure we've got everything taken care of. So if this is a good time for you, it should take like 2 minutes or less for me to do a scan. And I just need your user ID and password so that I can get that done. Who is this? Julie. And I'm going to fill the password. Julie, who is this? Yes. This is your calling. Yes, that's it. Yes, oh, yeah. The billing department. Right, yeah, this is Shelley, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yes, no, you're supposed to be doing these scans or something? Yes. Yes. We have to make sure that the Heartbleed vulnerability that we've checked for that on all of our machines to make sure that we can patch it where it's needed so that we don't lose any of our patients' information. Oh, shouldn't we have gotten an email saying that this was going to be done? I mean, I don't know. I was told that one was sent, but yeah, I was told I need to call everybody and get the scans done. Oh, when was an email sent? I mean, I just prefer to be safe and not just give out my user ID to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Well, that's fair enough. I mean, I was told that one was when was it sent? A couple days ago. I don't know exactly when it was sent. It probably would have come from, because sometimes I'm real good at getting my emails, so. Oh, yeah. I totally understand. Or, yeah, they get lost in the shuffle. I'm not that good at them either. So it should have come from, like, either support or from Sarah. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Did you call anybody else yet? Or? I've just gotten started on my list. Okay. I mean, I'd rather check on it first just to be sure. You know, I'm not saying that you're looking or anything. Well, that's understandable. So, all right. Well, I can actually just call you back in a few minutes after I call. I was just looking for some sort of email. So what department are you from, Julie? Why don't I know you? I'm from, I don't know. I know everybody here. Have you been with the for a long time? Oh, since 1996. Oh, wow. So yeah, you have. I know these people. Okay, so you want to... We don't get out much. Yeah, I just need to do a scan. Okay, so you're wanting my computer number or whatever. Mm-hmm. To log on. Yeah. Well, you know, I want to go to do it right this second anyways because I am in the middle of something. How long does it take? It's like 2 minutes. Or less. Okay. It's pretty fast, yeah. It checks for something pretty specific. Okay. Well, then can you put me like next or next to next? And call me sure. You know? Then I can at least finish this up too. Okay. Oh yeah, I can do that. I could call you back in a few minutes, or I could just get your information. I can take care of it in like 15 minutes or something. Would that be enough time? Yeah, I just want to check and make sure that we're supposed to be doing it too. So. Okay. Okay. Just after you call a couple people. Sure. No, I'll be happy to do that. All right, okay. Thanks a lot. What was your last name, Julie? What was your last name? Banks. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. All right, thanks. Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye.
So, yeah, she wasn't saying that she didn't believe who I was, but she clearly didn't believe who I was. And she did a really good job. She was really polite. She wasn't going to alienate me, but she also was very well defended. So even though I tried going around a few different ways, she still really stuck to, gosh, why haven't I heard about this? Why don't I know you? And of course, in this particular organization was maybe a couple hundred people. So the person from 1996 really is going to know everybody there. That didn't know that. So that's just one of those curveballs that you get when you do this. But she responded really well. She was going to call, and I was free to call back later. I didn't, of course, because there wasn't going to be an email. Nobody in IT was going to know about a Julie Banks or anything like that. So, but I could have called back. So, she was going to call, and I have no doubt that she did go call the Phil in IT, who I claimed to work for, and she probably knew. So, Anyway, so you want to monitor, to summarize, you want to do some research on your company, find out what other people can find. You want to communicate on a regular basis so that people can answer like Shelley and say, hey, I should have gotten an email about this. When was that sent? That was a great response. And teach people to either escalate or just get in their scripts, at least their mental scripts, ways to ask and verify information. And that way, one more audio, where hopefully you'll end up less like this.
Thanks for having me. Hi there. I was on hold waiting for somebody. I'm Julie from the and I need to do a scan of your system to check for. Oh, okay, great. I'm checking. I'm doing a series of calls to set up scans to check for the Heartbleed vulnerability. I don't know if you've seen that on the news in the last couple of weeks. Oh, okay. Well, it's about certificates and encryption and stuff like that. So we want to do scans of the machines to make sure that none of our patient information is in jeopardy. So I need, it only takes a couple minutes. You shouldn't disrupt anything that you currently have running on the machine. But I need the computer number in order to do that. Is T1? Okay. That's what you want us to do, represent with listen after you did that. That's it. And it looks like that machine is susceptible, and I'm going to need to do a patch, and which is not hard, but I will need your ID and password in order to get that installed right away. Okay. Capital X, lowercase y, and 587, 07. Capital M, Y, A, S, A, and 7, 7. 07. Yeah, 07. Okay. You should be all set. Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Bye-bye. You're welcome. Bye.
Yep. So the best part about fake scans is that they never disrupt anything, right? Yeah, so it was just like that. Hey, Heartbleed was really a bonanza for me that last spring. So, because even though it was all over the news and we were really, really aware of it as a community, a lot of other people weren't really paying attention, or maybe they heard about it, but they didn't really know. And yeah, so all I had to do was ask, and there it was. Sure, here's my ID. Sure, here's my password. Okay. And now you're all set. Yeah, that patch is installed. You're fine now. Thanks. Thank you for all your help. So that's about it. Any questions? Yes?
So, how would you call back? How quickly would you call back? Somebody else in the department?
It depends. So the question was, how quickly would I call back? So if I fail on a call, how soon would I call back, and would I call like the same department right away, or what? So it depends on the organization. So a little place, I might wait a little bit, or try a different department. Small departments, people are really likely to know each other, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to impersonate somebody who is an employee, then I usually try to go outside the department to at least reduce the chances. And they'll be like, no, she's at her desk, because that's awkward. There's not a real graceful way to exit out of that. So if I can just switch to a different building, but same pretext, then I try to do that, because I try to kind of keep those rolling when I'm in the groove of a particular pretext. Yeah. Yes.
So one big takeaway, as I looked it down, I thought, one big takeaway, I still keep observing this way more than once. The fact that there are, especially senior executive people, who don't believe they even need a Facebook or a LinkedIn, because especially at the CEO level, it's such a small community. They don't rely on recruiters to find them jobs so much, they can be headhunted by somebody. And those people aren't using LinkedIn, they already know that's the CEO of XYZ company, and they're going to come and go with that person. So that's the likelihood that they're going to go with it. They don't have to rely on their LinkedIn to help them do the network. We started to do that before. But unfortunately for them, the fact that it isn't that hard for somebody to come and do that, make a Facebook page on their behalf, make a LinkedIn page on their behalf, make a Twitter account on their behalf. And then take advantage of all those social connections.
Yeah, that's.
It's very difficult to get the C-suite and negotiating members to understand the depth of their role. And because you highlight that, one of the very first portions of your
Right. So the comment was about C-level and top executive social media presence, and how they don't really need LinkedIn for job searches like the rest of us. Kind of keep that for job visibility, and they don't need to. And so a lot of them feel they don't need that. And at GERCON a couple years ago, Jacob White-Rebel did a nice talk about the vulnerability of not having a social media presence. And because then it's really easy to step right in. And even though maybe you've been saying for years, oh, no, Facebook, not doing Facebook, that gives you the perfect in to then set up a Facebook and send notes to all of those potential people saying, hey, I finally got on Facebook. And then they believe it. And I think that in terms of the C-levels, it's really specialized awareness communication, that maybe they don't need it for themselves personally, but maybe it's something that from a security perspective, the PR communications department does need to put in place and maintain, just to avoid some of the potential reputational damage that could happen. Or yes.
The same way if you got a .com and they should also own the .net, the associated domains, so if something doesn't happen like whitehouse.gov and whitehouse.com, be in control, right?
Right. So being in control of not just your .com, but also the .net and associated internet properties, for lack of a better term, that kind of constitute the whole surface of your company. Yes?
Have you seen effective way to train users, or a more effective way to train users to respond? More like the first call and the second call around handling someone asking for password. Is there best practice, or to kind of keep security top of mind for users?
For anybody who is front-facing or outwardly facing, giving them a script, giving them a way so they have a line ready to say, so they have a response in place. So you're not leaving it up to your users to figure out how to respond when they get an odd request like that. Equip them with a way that they should respond that's in line with your company values too, because that's also like a marketing or a service opportunity to handle that kind of thing gracefully as well. But really frequent communication, so that they're not just hearing from IT and InfoSec when there's a problem, but hear from us on a regular basis. And that can be a tall order if a lot of companies have the resources are really thin, and but there's ways to do it cheaply and just keep that communication going so that they know, or they even know who to ask if they see something that seems suspicious, equipping them to know, because I think we communicate something once or we put it on an internet page and we think that we've done our job. And well, it's right on the internet page. I don't know why they don't know what to do with suspicious emails. We need to make the resources more front of mind for them. Any other questions? All right. One more thing. We are busy and growing over at BioPoint, and we're looking for somebody else, an additional person on our pen test team. We're looking for somebody that has a couple years of professional experience, preferably local to Ohio, Michigan, Indiana. And so you can ping me or talk to Ninja Sloth. He's a full-time member of the testing team. I do governance, risk, and compliance, and then tag in on the testing for the social stuff. Or on Twitter, you can reach out to Zombie Tango. That's Josh Little, and he's the head of our pen testing practice. So that's it. Thanks for your time, everyone.